Hi there. About 2 years ago, I made a video entitled Why I, as a Jewish Woman, Love Covering My Hair. It was something like that. Why do Jewish women cover their hair and why I love doing it? Something like that. And it was actually, I think it was the first video I ever made with me speaking to the camera. Up until then, I hadn't done any actual speaking. I would just tie my scarves online and have some beautiful Beethoven music playing behind me. So I decided that I should finally start speaking to the camera. And of course, the first video I make with me talking was this huge subject to tackle. And I was nervous. I'm still nervous when I talk on camera, but I thank God gotten a little better at it over the years. And I was rambling. I didn't necessarily make the best points, but shockingly enough, that is the most popular video that I have made. It has, I don't even know how many views on it, but it's extremely popular. And obviously it has sparked some debate amongst the commenters. I honestly don't even read the comments anymore. But it's my most popular video. So even though after putting it up, I immediately wanted to take it down, I left it up because people seem to love it and people seem to refer to it. Yeah, but I always meant to redo it. And so this video is going to be a bit of my start of redoing that video. Basically what I tried to do in that video is I basically bit off way more than I could chew and tried to tackle this whole big subject. So this is going to be quite a few parts of a video, and this first video is going to be just about why I love covering my hair. And it's going to be one small aspect, which is the pleasure that I get from covering my hair and why I get that extreme pleasure from covering my hair. So for those of you that don't know, I am a Torah observant Jewish woman. And yeah, that's what I do. I observe Torah and I love it. And I cover my hair because I'm a Jewish married woman. I've been covering my hair since the day after my wedding. And I, as a Jew, believe that our purpose in this earth, on this planet, in this lifetime, is to experience and learn how to create the maximum amount of connection and pleasure that is possible between myself and my Creator. That is basically my job in this earth. However, I don't believe that this pleasure can manifest itself by me just kind of laying back and, getting the pleasure from my infinite Creator. That is not how pleasure works in this world. That's actually a very baseline pleasure. Getting a massage is nice, but there's pleasures in this world that are much, much higher and much greater than that. And they are often not so easy to achieve. So I'm going to base what I say in this video on Rav Noach Weinberg, who is the Rosh Yeshiva, was the Rosh Yeshiva before he passed away, of Aish Hatorah. And he has a class where he talks about 5 levels of pleasure. I'm going to go over that briefly because obviously there's many, many people that give this class over who can speak about it much more knowledgeably than I can. But I'm going to talk about that there's different kinds of pleasure that you can experience in this world. So the baseline pleasure that we can experience, which is it's definitely a profound pleasure, is physical pleasure. And that's physical pleasure, like, when I bite into something delicious or I see something beautiful, it's very just physical pleasure, enjoying the world around me. And that's baseline pleasure. When you go a level up from that, the next level of pleasure you can experience is nice, warm, and fuzzy love. And I'm not talking about profound, deep love here, which is like total multifaceted level. I'm talking about the feeling that I get when I snuggle with my cat, or the warm and fuzzy friendship feeling I get when I haven't seen a friend in a long time. That sort of love pleasure. The next level of pleasure that we can experience on this world is for when we are part of something bigger than ourselves. So when I am fighting for a cause, or when I'm part of a community, when I'm part of something, that's bigger than myself, then that pleasure that I get from being beyond myself is yet another level of pleasure that I can get. The next level above that is the pleasure that you can get from creating. and this is a very, very high level of pleasure that you can achieve in this world, we actually in this world are able to be partners with our Creator and create ourselves. So I can create music, or I can build a house, or I can with Wrapunzel, which is the head covering movement that I've been so blessed to create, like I can like be a part of this movement, which is also a cause, but I can be a creator in this movement. Oh my goodness, that's so amazing. It makes you a partner with the infinite when you can actually create in this world, and that's incredible. The top level of pleasure that we can experience in this world, and it's rarely experienced, but we can experience it daily if we want to, is the transcendental, which is when we really, some people would call it prophecy, but there's different levels of prophecy, obviously. So when I experience that deep, profound, meaningful connection with the infinite, when I basically become infinite, when I transcend my physical self, that is the top level of pleasure. So again, you can learn about these 5 levels of pleasure. There's many people that give over that class, but that is basically, those are the 5 different kinds of pleasure that someone can experience in this world. And as a Jewish woman, I really try to, basically I'm a selfish human being. I want to get the maximum, best amount of pleasure that I can from being in this world. And how can I do that? And how can you do that? Because really, that's why we're here. It's not selfish. It's simply why we are here in this world. Because our Creator created this world with love. He gave us this world with love in order to teach us how to create and how to love and how to basically get this absolute maximum amount of pleasure. So, how are we going to do this? How is pleasure achieved in this world? Contrary to popular belief, pleasure does not happen without hardship. We are put into this world to work. We are put into this world to sweat. We are put into this world to grieve, to have tragedies, to work hard, to overcome ourselves, to overcome challenges. If I were to hand someone their medical degree, just walk to someone on the street, maybe someone that had aspirations of becoming a doctor, and say, here's your medical degree. Go be a doctor. And, somehow I'm going to like put the knowledge into your brain and zing, you're done. You're a doctor, go. How much pleasure would they get from that? I'm sure they would be happy. Okay, yeah, I have all this knowledge. Yay. Okay, I have the certificate. Yay. But can you compare that to the amount of pleasure that doctor would feel after working for years and years and not sleeping and staying up studying and just, the hardships and seeing people pass away and having to get over that and comforting people and healing people over all those years, and then graduating with a medical degree, coming out of that all on top. Can you imagine the feeling of accomplishment and the feeling of pleasure that doctor would feel compared to the one that I would just walk up to on the street and hand the certificate? Can you see the difference? I think all of us know that our greatest challenges, and again, I can't speak for someone that's facing a challenge right here and now. Obviously, someone that's facing a challenge in the present is in no state to understand why that challenge is happening to them. But I think if all of us look on our past, and everyone has a story, of course, but our past and our hardships, the things that made us stretch our muscles, the things that really, really made us grow are the things that bring us the most pleasure and make us who we are today. So I also like to think of it as an athlete. If you go to a weight room and you're really, really pumping iron and really, really working hard and really, really maxing yourself out, imagine the pleasure that you're going to feel at your bodily health. Other than if I just snapped my fingers and made you a healthy person. If you work hard for something, you're going to get a really, really great dose of pleasure. So I want to make that clear, that the fact that we are put into this earth to experience pleasure does not mean that we're not going to go through hard things. Of course, we're going to go through hard things. But I think we need to really align ourselves with the light. And, we do have a choice to not align ourselves with the light. But when we align ourselves with this reality that we are here to experience pleasure, and that in the end goal is to experience pleasure through connecting to our Creator, then we can really organize and interpret these things that happen to us in a very different way. So what does this have to do with hair covering? So I really just want to talk a little bit about how these 5 aspects of pleasure that I talked about before, how when I take 5 minutes every day, I can experience these 5 levels of pleasure right at the beginning of the day, and it completely changes and forms how I face my whole day. It has changed me as a Jewish woman, as a human being, and how I face the world. And really, if those 5 minutes, it's going to change everything. So on the first level, which is physical pleasure, tichels and head coverings, mipachot, all these words that you can call this thing on my head, they're really pretty. They're really lovely. I love feeling them. I love the pleasure I get when I open my, I mean, everyone has their different storage technique, but I actually fold mine in the closet. And when I open my, my closet and I see just these beautiful colors, baseline pleasure, a physical pleasure. It is very pleasurable to see these beautiful textures and cloths, feel them, look at them, almost taste them in a way in the morning. That's just, it's awesome. And putting those colors together into patterns, so much fun and new discoveries every single day. Just absolute pleasure. And there's nothing wrong with this kind of pleasure. It is really, really profound, and we should seek out physical pleasure in this world. The second kind of pleasure, as I talked about before, is love. So how exactly does wrapping my hair help, give me the pleasure of love? And I was thinking about this earlier, and I was, wrapping my hair allows me to love myself. And I think we often forget how important this is. When I wrap my head, and that's basically, I am taking my energy and I'm allowing it to shine through my face. When it's like a very physical act, I'm saying I'm worth something. I'm put on this earth for a reason, to do good things, to do beautiful things, to connect with my Creator, to have joy, to do all these wonderful things. And when I take those 5 minutes every day, and really it takes me less than 5 minutes to wrap my tichel, you have the time. And if you don't have the time, you have to make the time. Because those 5 minutes are going to change how you love your family, how you love your spouse. Those 5 minutes to love yourself, to really feel the love of your Creator, it's perfect. It's a perfect amount of time, and it's because it's a very physical act. You're literally hugging yourself with that scarf. You can really feel that self-love. Very, very important, especially for most of us women, to do that and to really think about that when we're tying our scarves. The third thing is being part of a whole and being part of something bigger than ourselves. And really, if you look at Wrapunzel and the Wrapunzelution and the fact that, when I wrap my scarf, I'm not just doing this thing alone anymore. I am part of a movement. I'm a part of a movement of women that really, we're taking our sexuality and we are really owning it. We're taking our femininity and we are saying, you know what? I'm going to I'm going to harness my femininity and I'm going to show it to the world in a beautiful, beautiful way. And I'm really going to, I'm not going to let the media and I'm not going to let outside sources tell me what beauty is. I'm going to really take it upon myself to appreciate who I am and to shine my light into the world in the most unique, beautiful way possible. And one thing that we always are very, very, I want to say machmir, or very strong about in Wrapunzel is we say we don't want every single woman to look the same. We want you to discover the best way to let your light shine. And that's what being a Wrapunzel woman is about. It's about helping everyone look beautiful. It's about helping each other. It's about giving to each other. It's huge. It's really, really huge. And if you even just look at, what's going on with the hair covering movement today, it's exploding. It's amazing. So you're even though I'm sitting down, I'm getting this pleasure from touching my scarves and, loving myself, I'm part of something so much bigger than myself. And with every wrap and tuck, I can really feel that. So that's the next level of pleasure that I experience. And this is just in less than 5 minutes. Every single day I can experience this. So remember the next level of pleasure that we can experience? It's the level of creation. And when I wrap my scarves, I'm creating something. I'm really allowing my creative juices to flow, and it is so wonderful. I'm really, first of all, I'm creating myself, which is wonderful. I'm saying, who do I want to be today? And how is the scarf on my head going to help me shine that light upon the world? So I'm creating myself. And I'm really, through the physical act of doing something on my head, I'm creating something. I'm creating something that is a part of self-love, and I'm creating something that's part of a cause, and I'm creating something beautiful, and I'm really, really creating. Bing, bang, boom, right in the beginning. And like the first thing I do every morning is that, not the first thing I do, but one of the first things I do every morning is I create something. That's wonderful. And it's also something that I can wear during the day. And that's something that will continuously be a reminder that I am a creator. With every single word that I speak, with every single action that I do, I am creating. And this is my reminder all the time. And the highest level, which is the transcendental level. And that's sometimes that we really have a choice whether or not we can achieve this level that early in the morning. But if we talk about in Wrapunzel, we talk about having kavanah, and when you're wrapping, thinking of someone in need, or thinking of like a cause, or basically dedicating your wrapping towards something bigger than yourself. And I have found that again, it doesn't take long. It can be like a couple of seconds when I really understand that I'm doing a mitzvah when I'm covering my hair. I'm doing something that is connecting me to my creator. I'm bringing the infinite into the world, literally through something as simple as a scarf on my head. That's incredible, and you can feel it. It's beautiful. And you can feel it that early in the morning, and it will carry you throughout your whole day. So that's the pleasure that I get every single day from wrapping my scarf. And it, as you can see, this is no small pleasure. This is a huge dose of pleasure. And everyone always asks me, why are you so happy? I mean, if you were doing that every single morning, wouldn't you be happy, right? Okay, so that's why I'm so happy. That's why life is so awesome, is because I can really tap into these things every single day. And some women, everyone has their thing. Everyone has their mitzvah. Some women might feel this way about the way they dress, or the way they do dishes, or the way they pray in the morning. For me, it's the act of covering my hair, and it takes so little time, yet it's huge. It's huge. It's everything for me. It's really like, it's like this little taste of everything that just guides my whole day. So I hope you enjoy this video, and I hope it inspires you. For those of you that do cover your hair, I hope it will help enhance your covering experience, and that you just love, love, love it. And that for those of you that don't cover your hair, maybe it'll give you a little understanding as to why I love it so much. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.